to Thorrun Govind, who's a pharmacist. She's our favourite pharmacist, actually. Thorrun, a very good morning to you.
Oh, morning, Mike. Lovely to hear
Nice to talk to you.
about.
Now, I'm a bit concerned about this coli outbreak. It says it's linked to a nationally distributed food item. I don't know if that's been identified or whether you can identify it, but tell us about the story.
No, we wouldn't want to identify it just yet, Mike. We'd be getting in lots of legal trouble, as you know. I have my hand in some legal pies as well. So,
Right.
we don't know what this item is at the moment. We are trying to find out. It's nationally because we know that there are issues in England. So, 81 cases in England, 18 in Wales, 13 in Scotland, and one in Northern Ireland. And there's a whole age range of people affected, which makes me again think about what food item this could be. It's from 2 years old to 79 years old. The majority are young adults. I'm trying to think what young adults are eating most of, Mike, to be honest.
Yeah.
Um,
But I mean, it's obviously a
and
bit worrying, isn't it, for families? We're coming into a weekend, if people are going to go out shopping for the food that they normally buy, say, on a Saturday morning at the supermarket, how do they know what to avoid? I mean, if you don't know what it is, I mean, surely somebody should be telling us, shouldn't they?
Well, absolutely. And, the sooner we find out what this is and it's taken out of the food supply chain, the better. Now, the key part of this is we have E. coli in our intestines. It's a bacteria, but it's when it gets to the stage where it's a Shiga toxin producing E. coli, which is associated with this outbreak. And really, the key point is if you are having vomiting and diarrhea, and it could be because of this potentially, you need to be calling up a healthcare setting rather than walking in because we're risking spreading it to other people and taking out workforces as well. So
Right.
that's a really key point.
And if
And
you are,
hand washing.
sorry, go on.
And hand washing as well is really key. Alcohol gels do not get rid of this. So that soap and water is the way forward
Right.
with this one.
And if one of your kids gets it or you get it, what's the best thing to do? I mean, obviously you call somebody, but I mean, what can you take or do you have to let it pass?
Well, yes, you need to keep yourself super hydrated. That's the first point about this. Keeping up those hand hygienes, isolating yourself. So make sure you're not preparing food for other people. You can obviously treat the symptoms to just get you through, but ultimately, it will pass. But if it gets to a stage where you are having more higher symptoms and you seek medical attention, you can call 111 and you can also obviously call your GP surgery. We'll have people calling the pharmacy as well. But ultimately, it's about how we manage those symptoms and try and keep people well at home, ultimately.
Right. And earlier this morning, I saw figures around about sort of just over 100 cases in various different parts of the country. Is that stabilised? Is that going up? Do you know?
We think this might actually go up, Mike. At Christmas, actually, there I was doing my Christmas show. It was just after Christmas in the new year, actually, and I was called because again, there was a cheese which was linked to this same sort of outbreak. So there was, lots of people having to think about what cheese they were eating, for example, at that time and what they'd got in their cupboards. And also the boat race earlier this year, they couldn't go in the water because of the risk of E. coli in the water as well,
Right.
you'll remember. So it's an interesting one, this one.
Yeah, it really is. Let's talk a little bit just before we let you go about this day of lights out protest that some pharmacists are planning. Is this about, government plans to kind of give pharmacists more to do, if you like?
Well, it's 20th of June. The plan is that pharmacists, just to confirm, this is not a strike. This is a day of protest where it's going to highlight to the public what the dire straits that the pharmacy sector is in terms of the funding cuts that we've had to deal with, which are actually causing pharmacies to close. And we've had a reduction in the number of pharmacies in England. So what pharmacy teams on that day will be doing is wearing black, turning off the lights for a portion of the day to indicate, the lights are going out because of what we're having to deal with. It is very sad what we are having to deal with, and we want to keep open for our patients. And to me, it's a travesty that there has been such a number of closures of pharmacies because that impacts patient care. So we want to highlight this because we don't want any more pharmacy closures.
Okay, good to talk to you, Thorrun. Thanks very much indeed. Thorrun Govind, a pharmacist, talking about this E. coli outbreak. So if you do see that one of your family has got symptoms, just do make sure you get in touch with the correct medical authorities.